Your brain knows exactly what would make the anxiety stop. It knows the phone call, the conversation, the appointment. The thing sitting on your list would actually fix this, and it won't let you do it, not because you're weak, because your brain has decided the cure is more dangerous than the disease. You've felt this. You know you'd feel better if you just made the call, said the thing, showed up. But instead you sit there, chest tight, running through every version of how it could go wrong. And somehow that feels safer than just doing it. Once you see the loop, you'll know why waiting makes it worse, why forcing it backfires, and why the smallest first move matters most. Let's start with last Tuesday. You need to call the doctor. Nothing dramatic, just a follow-up, a scheduling thing, something that would take 4 minutes. You've been meaning to do it for 3 weeks. The number is in your phone. You've opened the contact 6 times. Once you even hit dial and hung up before it rang. Instead, you've spent 3 weeks thinking about calling, rehearsing what you'd say, imagining the receptionist asking something you don't have an answer to, picturing a pause where you sound stupid. 3 weeks of low-grade background noise over a 4-minute phone call that objectively does not matter that much. And here's what you told yourself. I'll do it tomorrow, when I'm less anxious. I need to be in the right headspace. I'll feel ready soon. You won't. That's not a motivation problem. That's the trap. Your brain has a threat detector. Think of it like a smoke alarm wired directly to your muscles. Something triggers it, and your body reacts before your thinking brain gets the memo. Scientists call it the amygdala. But what it really is, a security system installed when most threats could kill you. It doesn't evaluate. It doesn't weigh pros and cons. It fires first and asks questions never. Now, here's what makes anxiety different from fear. Fear is the alarm going off when there's smoke. Anxiety is the alarm going off because there might be smoke somewhere, eventually, in a building you haven't entered yet. So when you look at that phone number, your brain doesn't see a 4-minute call. It sees an unpredictable social interaction with unknown variables. Someone might ask something unexpected. You might stumble over your words. There might be a silence that stretches just long enough to feel unbearable. And your threat detector files all of that under danger. Do not proceed. But this is where it gets cruel. The anxiety doesn't just block the thing. It blocks the thing that would prove the anxiety wrong. That's the whole trick. A guard standing in front of a door, telling you something terrible is on the other side. You never open it, so you never see the room is empty. So the guard keeps his job. Psychologists call this avoidance learning. Let's call it what it actually feels like. A protection racket run by your own nervous system. Every time you avoid the call, your brain logs a lesson, not the truth. Not the call would have been fine. It logs this. We avoided the danger and survived. Avoidance worked. Threat confirmed. The alarm was right to fire. So the next time you think about calling, the response is louder. Because last time it saved you, it must be important. This is the cycle. Avoid the thing, feel temporary relief. Brain logs avoidance as a successful survival strategy. Next encounter triggers a bigger response. Avoid again. Relief again. Response grows again. Week after week, the thing that started small becomes something that feels almost impossible. You're not getting more anxious because you're broken. You're getting more anxious because the avoidance is training you to be. Now, here's what most people try. They wait. They wait until the anxiety drops enough to act. They say the magic words, I'll do it when I feel ready. But readiness isn't a feeling that arrives on its own. It's a byproduct of action. You don't feel ready, then start. You start, then feel ready. The confidence comes after the motion, not before it. Waiting for the anxiety to drop before doing the thing is like waiting for the smoke alarm to stop before checking for a fire. The alarm stops when you check, not before. And this is the part nobody explains. The anxiety isn't protecting you from the thing. It's protecting itself from being proven wrong. If you make the call and it goes fine, the threat model loses credibility. The brain has to recalibrate. Recalibration means the brain was wrong. Your brain would rather keep you anxious than admit the threat wasn't real. That sounds like a design flaw. It's not. For most of human history, the cost of ignoring a real threat was death. The cost of avoiding a safe thing was just inconvenience. So the brain was built to overprotect. 1,000 false alarms beat 1 missed tiger. That math made sense on the savannah. It does not make sense when the tiger is a phone call to a receptionist named Linda. So let's go back to Tuesday. You're staring at the number. Your chest tightens. Your brain sends a message that roughly translates to, "This interaction contains unknown variables." Unknown variables have historically meant social judgment. Social judgment was once a survival-level threat. Do not proceed. I repeat, do not proceed. Clean something instead. So what actually works? Not push through it, not just do it, not white-knuckling past the alarm. That turns every avoided thing into a war with yourself, and you will eventually lose that war. What works is smaller than that. You don't make the call. You dial the number. That's it. You don't commit to the conversation. You commit to hearing it ring once. The anxiety fires on the whole task, the unpredictability, the social stakes, the 4-minute gauntlet. But dialing is just pressing buttons. Your threat detector doesn't fire on buttons. And something happens when the phone rings. You're already in it. The freeze breaks. The planning, rational part of your brain takes over from the panic. Not because you conquered the fear, because you slipped past it while it was focused on the big picture. This works because of how the brain processes scale. A vague, open-ended task activates threat detection. A tiny, concrete action doesn't clear the threshold. You're not tricking yourself. You're giving your brain a version of the task small enough that it doesn't set off the wire. Motion disarms the alarm. Not courage, not readiness. Motion. But there's something that matters more than technique. It's what you say to yourself in the 10 seconds before you act. If the internal monologue is, "Stop being pathetic, just do it. Everyone else can handle this. What is wrong with you?" The panic gets louder. Now the threat isn't just the call. The threat is also you. You've become the danger. Your brain has to defend against the task and the person attempting it. It's fighting on two fronts. It will shut everything down. But if the monologue is, "This is hard," that makes sense. The alarm is loud, but the room is probably empty. Something shifts. Not a lot. Just enough. The volume drops one notch. One notch is all you need to press the button. Self-compassion isn't soft. It's strategic. It's the difference between fighting your own security system and walking past it calmly. It's Tuesday again. The number's in your phone. Your chest is tight, but now you know what this actually is. It's not a warning that something bad will happen. It's not a signal to retreat. It's a prediction built for predators, not phone calls. So here's what you take with you. Avoidance feels like safety, but it trains the alarm to fire louder next time. Readiness comes after motion, not before it. And the way you talk to yourself in those first 10 seconds either raises the volume or lowers it just enough to move. The thing that would help is on the other side of the thing that scares you. Not because life is poetic, because that's how the system works. It walls off the exit and calls it a threat. So what's the one thing you've been avoiding that you already know would help? And what if the alarm isn't a warning? What if it's a bookmark, marking the exact spot where the anxiety ends?